Intelligent System Analytic Computer is activated. All ISAC systems are confirmed online. Data scanned. Downloading files.
What's up, guys? You listen to episode 146 of SITREP Radio, giving you the news and other happenings in the world of The Division. Today, we're talking about our thoughts on the private beta. But first, my name is Mike, and joining me, as always, are my co-hosts, Robert.
Hello.
And Luke.
Howdy.
I hope you guys and our listeners have had a great week, and welcome to any new listeners of the show. Okay, so this is probably going to be a long podcast because, Jesus Christ, there has been a lot going on in The Division over the past week or so. So let's get down to some news straight away. Luke?
Yeah, a bit of admin. Last week we forgot to mention that the final shield for The Division was out. So, that's us being good at our jobs again, I suppose. So it's the Chieftain Shield that's out this time. This is the one where all you have to do is achieve the highest possible gear score on a 4-gear set, which is 290. If you haven't hit that number yet, head over to the optimization station in the terminal and spend some div tech to boost your rolls. That is literally it.
Yeah, I think we probably didn't talk about it because it didn't go live till Thursday. Is that right? And I'm sure everyone was playing the beta at that time.
Oh, yeah, because we were sneaky last week and recorded early, weren't we?
Yes, we did.
Ah.
Before we go further, if you pre-ordered The Division 2 on PC, I don't know if it's just applicable to Uplay or not, but you have the chance to get a free game because you ordered it on PC. You've got a choice of Ghost Recon, Watch Dogs, and Far Cry Primal. Roberts, which game are you going to pick up?
I've already got Ghost Recon. Far Cry Primal was poo, so Watch Dogs.
Cool. I will reiterate that is only for PC. So make sure you redeem your codes. Have a look on at the Division game. You can find all the details there, or head over to the Ubisoft website. I'm sure you'll find it there as well. And obviously the private beta has just ended a couple of days ago. However, if you are standing by for the open beta, the dates for the open beta have just been announced, and they will be running from the 1st till the 4th of March, 2019.
Nice.
A couple of weeks just before the game launches, boys.
Standard.
Well, it gives players a little bit of a chance to
it's like a
jump
week.
into
it's
it.
like a week before, isn't it? If you get early access.
Yeah, if you've got early access, but it depends which version of the game you bought, I guess. I will not be playing that. Will you guys be playing it?
Not gonna lie, probably, yeah.
I don't think I will. I think I did everything I wanted to do. I spent a lot of hours in the closed beta.
I'm not here, so I will not be playing it at all.
What do you mean you're not here?
I'm going to Devon that weekend.
Why?
It's family time just before the Division 2 releases.
Oh.
Banking them family points. Style.
Straight. Yeah, I kind of agree with Rob. I'm kind of glad that I won't get a chance to play it because it kind of... I would like to see if they make any changes between the private beta and the open beta, which I'm sure we'll talk about today. But it kind of... I don't really want to play it too much before the launch, I think playing the private beta was enough, if you know what I mean.
Having played Redacted and the private beta, yeah, I'm ready for the real game now.
But you can count, Rob will be there day one of the open beta.
Ring it in sick. I thought you meant the main game.
No, you'll still be playing the open beta, I guarantee it.
No, I won't.
Okay. Quick question. I want to put it to a vote. I'm quite interested to see who's going to win this. How many hours do you think Borry the Blade will play this?
Or the open beta or the actual game?
The same as what he played last time.
Did he sleep?
I bet it was roughly 30, 40 hours. Like 10 hours a day. Easily. I did over 30 hours, I know that. Yeah, and I didn't play on the Sunday.
I did over 30 because I played it pretty much all day on the Sunday.
I think I did 20? Maybe? I don't know. Right. Anyway, let's move on.
State of the game.
Okay, so today we're basically going to give our thoughts and feedback on what we've played from the private beta. I just want to iterate, this isn't a review. This is literally our thoughts and feelings. As we've seen a lot of people put out reviews, but it's not the full game yet. And a lot's going to change between now and launch in March. We are going to kind of cover over most of the things in the game, like skirmish, PvP, TTK, UI, obviously one of the big things. But yeah, before we start, I just want to ask you guys, did you enjoy the beta?
No, it was fucking shit.
Loved it.
Yeah, I spent over 30 hours just hating every minute of it.
Really? You're like, man, I just wish I liked this game. That was it.
No, it was awesome. Some of the bugs were a bit annoying, but other than that, loved it.
In comparison to a game that you played the previous weekend that is also in demo form, how do you think how much more did you enjoy it, or less?
I definitely enjoyed it more. Because I wouldn't have I put way more time into it. But we had a discussion on content last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I was like, I broke it down a little bit, and they had similar amount of content. But we played Division obviously a lot more.
Yeah, we did play that thing a hell of a lot more. It was like Thursday, Friday, and I was back on Saturday night. I know you guys were pretty much playing all weekend. Luke, you didn't play Saturday? Or did you play a little bit in the afternoon?
You played all Saturday night.
No, I played Saturday night, yeah. It was Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and then on and off all day Sunday. So
yeah. I really enjoyed the beta. I can't... There's no other way of putting it. Like, it probably sounds like we're being biased or sucking up, but I've been worried personally that I wouldn't be interested in the Division 2. I'm still playing the Division 1 at the minute and grinding towards that 3,000 accommodation score. I kind of got a bit burnt out towards the end of last year, went off, played Red Dead Redemption, Spider-Man, and I kind of felt like when we kind of knew there wasn't much content in the Division 1, we kind of spent last year trying to look for a replacement Division whilst we waited for the sequel to come out. I don't know if you guys felt like that at all. Which is kind of a shame, because Anthem's coming out now, which is like in that kind of wheelhouse, and it's coming out just in time for the Division. Oh well. But yeah, then to play the beta and be like, this is kind of everything we wanted from the first game, but it's improved upon. I honestly really, really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad that I do enjoy it, because we've covered this thing for like a year. I don't know how you guys feel about it from that point of view.
I honestly don't know what you're worried about, because ever since Gamescom, I've just been counting down the days till March 15th or March 12th, technically. Because
it's not so much that, it's just it's not enough time. Like, that Gamescom was not enough time, like nowhere near the amount of time we put in over the weekend. And like, you know, we've sat here every week since the announcement was like made, and we sat here before then, and it's kind of like you're covering it, but you're still kind of like, is it something we're going to want to cover, you know, or talk about, or even be interested in?
I wasn't worried. Ever since we got our hands on it for, I mean, how long did we technically play it for at Gamescom? Half an hour? Ever since we got our hands on it at Gamescom, I knew we were going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because they've taken the best bits of Division 1 and then improved on all the other stuff, really.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. Rob, any thoughts on that?
I did think of something, and now it's gone.
Okay, we'll move along.
No, hang on, wait. Am I coming back?
Talk amongst yourselves.
Wait. No, it's gone. Right, someone do the countdown clock,
that was
please.
it. I wasn't that blown away when I was playing the 1 to 7. But then, as soon as they released the end game mission, I was like, I'm on board.
Okay, we'll save that for a little bit later. But obviously,
Fuck you.
Thursday's release, The Division 2 beta had a bit of a rough start. Obviously, people had issues with deltas. There was players being banned for no reason. If you played on PC, there was memory leak problems, but yeah, you just literally had to restart your PC, and it was pretty much sorted for a couple of hours. I don't know about you guys. We all play on PC at the minute. I had no problems with regards to performance for the rest of the weekend. I don't like with regards to deltas, leakage. Well, leakage, that's,
I did. I experienced deltas, but they were very few and far between. I had an issue. I did the Dark Zone mission about 7 times because every time I got into the Dark Zone, and it was at random points, I would get delted and be put back to the nearest safe house, and I'd have to run to the Dark Zone again. That was a bit frustrating. And on the Sunday when I played it in the morning, I kept getting Charlied.
Did you?
Basically, the only way to get rid of it was something to do with the anti-cheat, I think. The only way to get rid of it was to reboot my PC. It sorted it, but it's just you would get Charlied every 2 minutes.
Right, okay. Luke?
I had literally one issue after the Thursday. So on the Thursday, I had to do 2 resets because of the memory leak. And I think we were counting, weren't we, just for shits and giggles. We had 5 or 6 deltas in the space of about 5 hours, which, is fine. It's a beta, whatever. And then I can't remember if it was the Saturday or the Sunday, I fell through the map in the Dark Zone. But that's it.
Oh, right.
I had no more deltas, no Charlies, no Mikes, no nothing. Just that.
Yeah, I mean, I was still seeing graphical popping, texture popping over the weekend now and then, but it was only one instance, and I'm pretty sure I loaded in at one point, and I was in Washington DC, and the road was just disappeared. I was just stood there, and there was no road. I was like, okay, this kind of reminds me of the Division 1, but apart from that,
did you say the Back to the Future quote?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
Because I didn't have the car.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay.
I told a lie, by the way. I forgot. I had the audio issues all the way through the weekend.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I had
no
audio
big deal
issues
on that either.
Yeah. I think the only big issue that I had playing from launch was I did obviously the first mission that everyone else did, which was getting them base of operations, heading towards the White House. But I got delted when you speak to the first NPC during the cutscene.
Oh yeah,
This was funny.
So I loaded back in, and I was like, cool, so I'm already at the base of operations. No, it hadn't saved it at that point. So I had to it put me back to the start, but the mission was already done. But there was a freaking fence they'd put a fence in the way. I was like, what's going on, guys? So I ended up deleting the character and replaying it. I had no problems after that. It feels like for everyone, it's kind of been mixed. It's some people have had problems. I think it went reasonably well, to be honest, compared to some games that have launched demos and betas recently. Fallout 76, Anthem. It took them a week to fix their constant booting issues with regards to deltas and stuff like that. Because me and Rob spent an entire weekend trying to play Anthem, and we were just getting kicked every half hour or so. Hour.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So the fact they fixed that pretty much in one day was pretty damn. I was pretty chuffed with the fact they've managed to fix most of that.
Yeah, me too. I think a lot of people were, to be honest.
Okay, so straight into mechanics, boys. How do you feel about the mechanics in the Division 2? Obviously, the movement's changed. The chicken dancing seems to be reduced. How do you feel about stuff like that? With regards to how tactical you feel now opposed to the Division 1. You're not exactly immortal. Every now the TTK's changed and stuff like that.
They've slowed everything down. So skills and grenades actually have a fairly substantial animation.
Mm.
So you can't just be reactive with them. You kind of have to be tactical and preemptive, which for both PvE and PvP is great. In my eyes.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot more natural playing it this time around. And I gotta say, the gunplay, one of the main things that I like about the Division 1 is just the movement and how the gunplay feels. I don't know if you guys agree, but I think it's the same, but it feels better. And obviously the weapons sound awesome, and it's definitely a step above the Division 1. Luke?
I agree with what Rob said, where they slowed everything down. So, specifically the grenades, if you want to throw a grenade, you really have to think about when you're going to throw it and exactly where you want to throw it. Because you fuck that up and you're dead. Same with reloads. I was using an M60 for an awful lot of the time in the beta, because that gun was like shredding in both PvE and PvP. I was loving it, but that's got quite a long reload on it. It did in Division 1, it still does in Division 2, which I'm fine with. Putting out 100 rounds per belt magazine, I expect it to take me a while to reload it. You fuck that up, you're dead as well, because people can rush you, or if you're not in the right place of cover or somebody flanks you or something, that's it, game over. I absolutely love that the chicken dancing is completely and utterly gone so far as we've seen. And I something else I really love is the NPCs seemingly being a bit smarter. They will take cover and then wait for you to do something rather than just keep poking their head out like, "Hi, come on, shoot me. Hi, come on, shoot me." So I love that change.
You've got the suicide NPC. There's so many different variations that we just saw from the factions that we've seen in the beta. But I was back playing the Underground last night. I'm pretty sure Rob died in the Underground and Boris died. I had to go revive Rob, right? And the crazy thing was there was 10 NPCs right next to your body. Do you remember, Rob?
Yeah, I do.
And I was like, if this was the Division 2, I would not have done that, because I would be pretty much dead. I went straight over, revived him whilst I'm being shot at, and then ran back into cover. You can't do that in the Division 2. And I love that.
Well, you could, but you'd die.
Well, yeah.
Do you guys agree that the NPCs in Division 2 seem angrier? Like, they really want to kill you in Division 2.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know whether I said, I was watching a streamer, and one of the NPCs clearly said, "Sit on your ass," but less politely, and then smacked him, and he got killed. It was like "Sit the fuck down," and then smacked him, and it was on the hard mission, so he just got one shot.
Nice. Love it.
Yeah, didn't a couple of you get whacked in the face with a golf club? The NPC that's got the golf club over the weekend.
Yeah, I got one of those.
It was one shot straight down. They were legendary NPCs, weren't they?
Yeah. I got blown up a lot as well. Those fucking suicide rushes were no joke.
Yeah.
Those explosive drones as well.
Time.
And those fucking remote control cars, dude. Fuck. Like I say, if you mistime a reload on the M60, that's it. Shit is going to hunt you down.
We were in the DZ, and I got killed by, it wasn't a remote control car, it was, but it looked like something from Robot Wars. It had
yeah.
Oh, the one with the blades on it.
Blades on the front.
Yes.
Angry ass lawnmower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of those as well. They killed me too. I think everything in Division 2 killed me at some point over the weekend.
Well,
including the map, even yourself.
Yeah.
But we were trying to make our way to our Dark Zone mission, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know what area it was, it was just on the left-hand side, there was a bunch of NPCs, so it was one shot. And I'm coming up behind, and I saw Boris go, "Oh, fuck." Luke's "Oh, shit, I'm down." Rob's where am I getting hit from? Down. I'm oh my God, what is going on? And we tried it about 3 times. I think we ended up fast traveling to it, because obviously Boris and Rob had already done it at that point.
No, we killed him. We had to kill him.
We went
Did we end up killing him?
all stealthy and tactical and stuck to the right-hand side of the road and then shot him from 400 yards away or whatever it was.
We played a lot over the weekend, so I can't remember what we did. But I'm pretty sure after we did that, we were fast travel anyway. I still think we ended up fast traveling, because me and Luke were I don't want to fast travel. I don't care if you guys have done that or not.
We didn't fast travel. We couldn't.
Because we were in either mine or your instance.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and you were refusing to fast travel, weren't we? Because these Boris and Rob had already gone ahead and done missions while we were not online, let's say.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we said on last week's podcast or if it was said after we recorded last week, but Rob, we recorded early, we preloaded the game, and Rob was making plans. He was like, hey, do you guys want to get on like a certain time and we'll play together? And we're like, really, Rob? You want to do that? He's like, actually, that's a good point. No, I'm good.
Yeah, I think I was already at level 7 by the time you guys logged in.
The thing about all this is, right, we played together pretty much every night, don't we? Well, every gaming night, because Mike can't get online over the weekend. And Boris knew that we were going to be playing and wanted to enjoy some of the Division 2 with us. So he got to level 7 and then said, right, I'm not going to go in the DZ. I'm not going to do the endgame missions. I'm going to wait for the SITREP boys and we're all going to do it together and enjoy it together and chat. Next thing I know, I load up fucking Facebook Messenger and Rob's like, oh, I've already done the endgame missions on my own. Just catch me up when you get there, guys. I was like, fuck you, Rob.
That was Friday night. It was done. But yeah, getting back on track. So obviously TTK is much faster for both the NPCs and players this time around. I feel like we get more. The gameplay itself is a lot more sped up, but you do still have to think twice about getting up close and personal, especially with some of the stronger enemies that we've talked about already. But with the changes to the TTK, it means we have to think what we're doing before you do it. You can't Leroy Helmsley it in there, can you, Rob?
Disagree.
Well, yeah, I know you would still do that anyway. But it's definitely a lot more risky to face tank this time around than it did than it ever was in the Division 1. Now, I noticed this back in Gamescom. We were like, you definitely need to stay in cover, but I was really wondering how viable it would be in the final product, like whether they're going to change it, because we've seen like complaints and stuff like that, but it's, you really have to think about what you're doing this time.
After 3 years of face tanking, it's quite a habit to break, isn't it? I died a lot on the Thursday and the Friday just because I forgot what game I was playing.
I loved it. I love the fact of using cover.
That's a great change. I'll just, anybody who hasn't played the beta yet will die a lot in the open beta, and anybody who unfortunately can't play either and then buys the game will die a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's been checking Reddit this week, there's literally a post up there that says, if you were dying and complaining in the Division 2, then you're playing the Division 2 wrong. Yeah. And I thought that was quite funny.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. I love the fact that, the first game was supposed to be a tactical cover shooter, and you kind of get that in maybe the early areas of like 1 to 30, but once you hit endgame, you put on a decent gear set, you're pretty much invincible, aren't you? Rob, what do you think about the TTK so far, man?
Well, just going back to what you just said, like 1 to 30, like in the other game, the first game, it kind of scaled quite well, didn't it? Like it kind of stayed the same no matter what.
Yeah.
Whereas I think they've done something quite clever. They've made it kind of, because the TTK in the endgame missions was higher than playing 1 to 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering whether it's gonna scale slowly from 1 to 30, and then you get to endgame, and it'll be, because did either of you play the solo mission, the endgame mission solo?
No.
I would compare on normal. I'd compare that to what the Division is now.
But that's I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, maybe a challenging mission. Or no, probably a legendary mission, actually.
But isn't that to be expected at endgame? Because at the end of the day, the game is an RPG. That's the whole point of, you are going to get some kind of sponginess to enemies, no matter which way you look at it, because that is the type of game. You're not going to be able to blast through every single NPC, are you? Yeah,
the one I was saying is that's a really cool thing. The fact that it slowly gets, if they do that. Yeah, I said do. If they implement
every week.
If they implement it getting slowly harder from 1 to 30 and then a little bit more harder in Endgame, it just makes kind of sense. You know what I mean?
Are you in Endgame then, Rob?
What?
I mean, you're over 30, right?
Fuck you.
Thing is, you can definitely tell the difference in, I don't want to say bullet sponginess, but you can definitely tell the difference in TTK and the amount of enemies that are being pushed into situations that you end up in depending on group size. Because like me and Luke were doing a control point, and like when we had our friend Brad playing, I was like, holy shit, this is pretty difficult. And that was 3 of us. And then he disappeared and we went to find another one. And Luke was like, oh, we've done it. I was like, I didn't even realize we were, I thought we were just killing open world NPCs. So
that's just Brad not pulling his weight, dude.
I think I did say afterwards, I was like, man, is it me or did that get easy after Brad was gone? I didn't mean it as a dig at Brad. It was just like, because the game scales depending on how many players are in your squad. But it does seem like a bit of a hike with the amount of NPCs and the kind of bullet sponginess. But whether or not it needs to be adjusted or not, well, it really depends what it's like in Endgame. We've only seen like a tiny bit, using, we haven't had much time on those specializations and the builds and how it all works properly yet either.
The sponginess was definitely better balanced than it is in Division, though.
Oh, yeah,
100%. Like, I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. When we say sponginess, it's nowhere near what it was.
I don't have
Division,
a problem with it.
And obviously, absolutely nowhere near what it used to be like in 1.3. You're not emptying magazine after magazine into these guys. Literally, the only person that you could empty a full magazine into is the really armored big guys that you would have seen from the E3 trailers anyway. And, that's by design, I guess, because they're armored up to the teeth, aren't they? I liked it. The TTK in PvP was absolutely perfect. We spent, 4 of the 5 hours on the Friday night playing Skirmish?
Dude, we were streaming. I got on at 8 o'clock Friday, and I'm pretty sure from 10 o'clock. Bear in mind, we went to bed at, we finished streaming at like 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I went to bed at 3:30. That was a good 4 to 5 hours solely playing Skirmish. It was that much fun. Obviously, we'll go into that a little bit later on, but one of the main things that it kind of is in both PvP and PvE is the armor system, and obviously that deals with the TTK as well. And how do you guys feel about the armor system? Because I personally love it. I like the fact when we have an armor system. I'm seeing a lot of people complain about med kits and having to hold down an armor repair button. I know there was a bit of a glitch where if you press down the armor button, you like some instances you'd have to stand up, which then obviously that's not good in PvP at all.
That happened to me once.
Yeah, I know it did.
Happened to Boris quite a few times during our Skirmish session as well, to be fair. That would be annoying, but like you said, it was probably a bit of a bug. I mean, this is the beta after all. That's what this is for. But yeah, I completely agree with what you said about the armor system. We talked about it a lot at Gamescom and after Gamescom. I thought it was great. Now that we've had a lot of time to play with it, I think it's bordering on genius. Really inspired decision to change it so that you have to be in cover. It was probably one of the only ways they could make this game cover based like it truly was supposed to be.
Did either of you notice the difference between the armor packs that you had on your specializations?
No, I didn't have a chance to look in the menu because someone was like, go, 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 because he'd already played the mission several times already.
Boris, right? Yes,
definitely Boris. We'll blame Boris on this one, shall we?
No, I'm pretty sure he waited anyway. It was me.
No, I'm messing. But there's probably going to be different armor types. So the thing is, like, you don't know what's going to be on your build yet. We could have like you could have perks on your builds, not perks, attributes that cool down, increase the speed of the armor placement and stuff like that.
I personally hope there's not too much that mess around with the armor of how all the mechanics of the armor work. Sorry, because I do think it was an inspired decision to make it so important that you've got your armor. Like the second your armor kit pings off of your character, that's it. A couple of bullets and you're on your arse.
Well, for the way I understand it, is the armor kit we get from what we had from 1 to 7 is like your frag grenade. or the standard grenade you get that no matter what. But when you get a specialization, you have a special one which does something slightly different. Still gives you armor, but in a slightly different way, not quite 100%. So I won't say the details.
I wonder if they're tied to which specialization you run as well.
They definitely are. Yeah,
because obviously, if you run a shield build, and we know shields in the game, it'd be interesting because in theory you should have heavier armor plating, which therefore would give you a tankier build. Just a thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm seeing people complain about it. I think one of the things I saw being one of the complaints was the fact that armor mitigation was a huge thing back in the Division 1. But the problem is this isn't the Division 1. It's the Division 2. We can't keep thinking about it in the past. And problems that we've had in the past, we've got to kind of let this breathe a little bit before we start making rapid decisions about what needs to change.
This was always... Sorry.
No, go on, dude.
I was just going to say this was always going to happen, wasn't it? You've got people who absolutely hated the TTK and the armor system in the Division 1 and wanted these changes in Division 2. And then you've got the people that are complaining about what they've changed in Division 2 because they absolutely loved the way that it worked in Division 1. People just don't like change, do they? That's kind of the point.
People don't know what they want. That's the problem.
I was going to say that. Yeah, people don't know what they want. They want low time to kill, but they also want to be invincible. How the fuck does that work?
Yeah.
You're going to find the gameplay boring as fuck. I'm going to say now, don't change the fucking armor system, please.
Agreed.
Because I like it. I saw a tweet from Thailander, and someone was like, "Oh, the whole community's going to moan, blah blah blah." Let them moan, because if people don't like it, there's another game you can go play. It's called the Division 1. Okay. Sorry, I know that's harsh. But that is harsh, but like we can't keep thinking. Like, it's one of the things I've really got into my head recently. Is like we've spent a year going, maybe we'll get this from the Division 1, maybe we'll get that, but it's not that game. It's a different game, and they've gone out their way to build it from the ground up, from the animations, from the AI, to make it from scratch. Yeah, we've got bugs that have kind of transferred over, but it's meant to be a completely different game in the world of the Division. Okay, let's move on to skills. What skills did you run over the weekend, boys?
It was a choice of 3, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, not technically.
Yes, Rob?
Because there were 3 skills, but there was like 2 mods on each, right?
Right.
So you could only pick 2. I think you only got enough shade tech or whatever the currency was to get 2.
Shade caches, wasn't it? You go out and collect
maybe
the shade
3?
caches.
I think I may have unlocked 3.
You could unlock 3, but you couldn't unlock... you could unlock 3, but you couldn't unlock the mods on all 3, because I definitely ran all 3 over the weekend.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I'll go straight up and said I ran Airburst and I ran the drone. I really wanted to try the drone out. I tried the Bombardier drone and the Fixer drone. I really like the Fixer drone. I like the fact that you can aim that to other teammates and heal you, especially Rob. It's great. And like Luke, you had a couple of close situations where you like, shit, my armor's down. And I can, the only thing I did feel a little bit like is because of how the skills worked in the beta, you kind of getting them prepped before you run into combat. I don't know if you guys felt like you were doing that, because I was having like the Fixer drone, Seekers down, ready to go before you're in combat.
Yeah.
That's tied to what I said earlier. They're preemptive rather than reactive.
Yeah,
skills.
But I don't know if that was a decision that's made or if that's like a bug in the beta, because I felt like the skills were slightly delayed. Not so much the Fixer drone, but obviously the Seeker mines. Seeker mines are meant to seek out, but now you have to aim them. But what I felt was happening was like I'd aim, you'd press whatever key to go get the player, but I was pressing like 3-4 times and it wasn't doing it. It wasn't activating and going out.
See, I think the Seekers are a bit buggy, because I didn't have that problem. I didn't run the Airburst Seekers, I ran the standard Seekers, but every time I pressed Q for them to aim at an NPC, it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe you by
Mike,
spamming Q were cancelling where you'd already aimed it to. Maybe.
I don't know, because I gave it wasn't like I was mashing those buttons, get it? It was like press it, wait, and it wasn't doing anything, and I'd press it again. And,
Also, did you switch to insta skill?
No, I was pressing because I had those on tied to my mouse, but I didn't do that on the keyboard.
Right, because I also played the Explosive Seeker. But if you just tapped it, if you tapped it twice, it would put it on the floor.
Yeah,
and it wouldn't seek unless you tell it to.
Yeah,
if you chuck it, it finds the nearest thing. That was my experience.
I didn't try throwing it because it's not a grenade in my head. I didn't even think I tried doing that. So maybe that's a fault on my end. But I definitely had an issue where I was I had the Seeker out ready to go, and it wasn't actually going in the direction I wanted to. And it was kind of like, by the time I got it to go where I wanted it to, it was too late. That's really the only issue I have with it. But I'm hoping that, that's not just how it's going to be now. It's just a bug with the game that it was delayed or something like that. Yeah, any thoughts on, I didn't use the turret. What did you guys use?
I used the sniper turret for a little bit. It was really quite helpful when we did the evaded mission, but it's not really that helpful in PvP. I didn't feel you got a lot more reward from running the Seekers in PvP, in my opinion. I don't know whether that was because they were a little bit too powerful. Maybe they need scaling back a touch, or maybe the turret just needs boosting a little bit. But yeah, Seekers seem to be the better choice of the two for PvP.
Which specializations did you pick when we did the mission? And did you only do the mission once on one specialization?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was the demolitionist because during the 3 tries that we had at Gamescom, for whatever reason, I always ended up with the sharpshooter. So I wanted to play something different this time.
Did you stick with the specialized skill?
Yeah, I don't think we changed it.
I believe so, yeah. I can't actually remember changing it, so almost certainly yes.
So you had it was the turret that shoots, no, that was, I can't remember which one's which.
I can't remember.
I know the survivalist, you got a drone, and you had the fixer drone, and you had the fixer seeker, which was amazing because you were like tanky as hell when you had both of them on you. The sniper one, crap, can't remember what he had.
At Gamescom, the sniper had a drone that did. Was it the recon drone on the sniper?
Yeah, recon drone. That's it. Yeah. I didn't like that. I quickly switched off back onto the fixer drone because it was keeping me alive. I think the demolition had. It's a bombardier turret. Yeah.
Yeah, I seem to remember that now. Yeah.
I was too busy trying to use the grenade launcher, to be honest with you. I was just like, give me some grenades.
This is awesome.
What did you think of the grenade launcher?
I liked it. It needs some getting used to.
It felt weak to me. Like,
yes and no. If you got that aim spot on, it would do some serious damage. But I don't think it's as noob-tubey as everybody expected it to be. You know, the stigma with a grenade launcher is it's just a noob-tubey. You just fire it wherever you want and you blow half the map up, don't you? This seems a bit more, to use that word, a bit more tactical and a bit more like reined in, and you have to make sure you're aiming pretty much where an NPC is. You can't expect to cover half the map with just one little...
Yeah, the area of effect
RPG
wasn't that big.
Exactly, yeah, the area of effect, yeah.
It does feel like it's more crowd control than anything else, though. And then obviously, if you've got someone else on your team running sharpshooter, they're going to be able to pick them off once like the armor's down. So it's like not completely wiping out the NPCs, depending which ones you're actually fighting. Because obviously, if you've got golds or purples, it's going to be completely different. But I did kind of feel like that. But I kind of don't want it to be OP at the same time, because otherwise you're going to be using it through the whole mission, depending on like how much ammo you've got and stuff like that. Very quickly, what are your thoughts on the ammo system for specializations?
It's fine.
Are you happy with it? The fact that we basically get it on the way through missions from NPCs?
You guys never played a solo mission, so you don't know how much you got as a. I think you get the same amount as a solo as you do as a group. So it's fairly even. Like when I did it solo on Survivor Sharpshooter, I had constant supply of ammo for that the 50 cal because I was getting everyone from that 4-man. Didn't we discover that when you ran out of ammo, you got more? Like it tended to drop more readily.
I don't know whether we discovered that or whether it was just a coincidence. Excuse me.
Much like the medkits do in the current game.
Yeah, I kind of wish we'd played the invaded mission a couple more times because that's certainly something I wanted to test. Just fire all the grenades out straight away, not even aim at anything. See if I then instantly get refilled with the first couple of NPCs that we kill because you've got no ammo left, and test whether that was a mechanic that was done purposefully or whether it was just a coincidence the one time we tried it. The thing I would say is I'm fine with not having a lot of specialization ammo. Look at the specialist weapon as almost like your super. It was only towards the very end of Division 1 where everybody figured out how to get the supers almost constantly. If you use your specialist weapon in the same way that you would use your super and you only use it when you absolutely have to use it, I'm fine with not having a lot of ammo in it, to be honest.
Do you reckon there might be perks tied towards
possibly
more ammo dropping?
Yeah, possibly. Some sort of scavenging again.
Because even though we were endgame characters, we still had stuff to unlock at the base.
True. Yeah.
Are you actually happy with the way it's dropping there? Because I've seen complaints from people about how they're not happy that we're only getting it from certain places with regards for the specialization. They're like, well, it's your super. This, you want to run it as much as possible. And I was like, well, no, because I don't think you can see it as your super anymore. It's effectively, to me, the heavy weapon you would get in Destiny. I'm going to bring that word up. I'm sorry, but it is. It's the same as that. And you only get certain amounts of
bless you.
Excuse you.
Heavy ammo in that, especially during if you're doing a raid, and if you've got your special, like Luke said, if you've got your specialized weapon there for constant use throughout some of the harder difficulty missions, end game raids. It's going to be too easy for you. What's the point?
That's it. Yeah,
I guarantee the people that are moaning are people that went in as a 4-man group, because when we did it as a 4-man, I didn't see one drop, but then I wasn't using it because I hadn't seen any. I was being reluctant to use my crossbow because I hadn't seen any ammo drop.
I just saved it until we really needed it, and I think that's how we're gonna have to. You can't play the rest of the game tactically and then get to the end game and be like, right, I'm just gonna blow everything up and just snipe everything.
Yeah. If it helps the game retain some of its difficulty, I'm all for not having much specialist ammo at all across the entirety of the game. Because one of my main complaints with Division since 1.3 is the game's just been too fucking easy. So if it keeps the difficulty in the Division 2, I'm not bothered if you don't give me a fucking grenade again. If they're only on a time loop and you only get so many grenades a week. Fine.
I'm just going to say it could also be a bug.
Possible.
It could be. Plus,
when I played solo, I had loads drop. So in my instance, loads.
But that makes sense. If you're a solo player, you probably need that to get through it.
I was just thinking, I never had one vanity item drop. I joined someone else's instance. First box open, I get vanity. So maybe it's just a bug.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's all going to be in balance anyway. This is a beta. Stuff is going to change. They're going to take all the feedback from the forums, from the emails that have gone out to fill out the survey. To make sure you do the survey and you give feedback. If you want things to be changed, be vocal about it. Moving on to gear, weapons, and builds. I love the different brands. I'm just going to say that straight away. What can you guys remember what brands you collected over the weekend? Oh my God, Luke's like, shit.
I can tell you the pictures.
I was going to say, tell us the exact names.
Providence Defense was good.
The Sokolov. Boris was all about the Sokolov.
Sokolov was good for Boris the Blade, yeah. The sneaky fucking Russian.
I got lots of the A one. I don't know what it was called.
That was the Alpine.
No, not the Alpine. That was the mountain. The A one.
Oh.
It was like Acer.
Oh yeah, I kept calling that one Alpha Bridge. It was basically the Alpha Bridge symbol.
It was it was very much geared towards sniper rifles.
Yeah. I can't remember if was it D and H? I can't remember the name for it.
Yeah.
That one seemed quite good.
That was high crit damage, wasn't it?
Yeah. That one would be good with your SMGs. And then the Providence Defense one gave you 5% weapon damage as the third talent. And I think it was
the Anchor.
Yeah. And
Sailor Jerry's.
Crit hit damage for one of the first two and maybe some extra health for the other one. That one I almost exclusively ran 3 pieces of the entire weekend.
Jerry can suck my dick.
Dude, you know the community's going to do it. They're not going to call it by their names. They're going to call it like
we've already started
the
doing
Anchor,
it.
the Sailor Jerry's.
The only one
that's
I
what I
know
said.
is Sokolov because Boris kept saying it.
Yeah, we're going to end up saying something else. I can guarantee that for that.
There was some though that I didn't get a single drop of. Like Boris was reading out names. I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" It's always like that brand set that does this. I was like, "I haven't seen that at all."
The zigzag snake one.
Sorry?
There's like a zigzag with a snake through it.
I didn't get that.
I don't think I got a snake.
Yeah, I think you only got it because we got it in the endgame mission. I think it was only available on purples. Because I only saw it on people with purples. Didn't see any blues or greens with it on.
See, that'd be interesting if that's by design, that there's some brands that only come into play lower down and only some brands that come into play higher up. That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if that's true or not.
I ran D&H, the Providence set. Ooh. So I had 2 sets of 3 of those put together. That was really good. I can't remember. The downside is I can't remember all the attributes, but it was pretty much weapon damage, accuracy. Was it skill power, Rob?
Accuracy. That was on the Anchor, I think. Accuracy. That's why it was so good with my M60.
It was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's on one of them.
Like
and there was like crit hit chance as well.
Yeah,
and then you had like a bonus attribute as well underneath that, depending what level of gear piece it was, whether it was blue, green, or purple. Purple. And then I was running that with I managed to get a purple FAMAS, which was awesome. That was really good. The funny thing about that, right, is I picked it up in the DZ and me and Rob were like, fuck, we need to go extract. And it wasn't, it was clean loot. So we got to like an extraction, then I think Rob ended up killing a player.
Yeah, because he's trying to car a rope.
Yeah. And then I was like, Rob, it's in my inventory. And the only reason I didn't realize it was in my inventory was because like
You're
they said, no, well, yeah, obviously that. Right. But it was the fact that they always said that if you get the better gear in the Dark Zone, you will have to extract.
It just means it was a shitly rolled FAMAS, dude.
All right, okay.
Shittest purple roll you could possibly get here. Just
maybe. To be honest, I can't remember what the name of the talent was, but the talent on it was, is it similar to Unforgiving? I can't remember. But it was basically the more you use the more you go through the mag, the higher the damage output was. So your damage increased as you went through the mag.
No, like special reserves. So
yeah, that's not like Unforgiving. It's kind of a play on what the house gear talent was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Unforgiving is you get more damage as the less health you've got.
It was kind of that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
They actually have that talent. It wasn't called car count, but one of the specializations you get in MPX, I think it was Survivalist, and it basically has card counter on it.
Awesome.
It's not called card counter as something else, but it's essentially the same
I remember
thing.
you talking to Boris about that. Actually.
Yeah, me and him were bumming over that a little bit.
I gotta be honest, I really enjoyed kind of, even in the beta, just kind of slowly putting sets together with the stuff that I was picking up from that. And I was like really interested to see what I would have got if I'd have took that one step further with purples. I didn't have enough time to actually, I mean, you think a lot of people spent a lot of time in the dark zone in the end game mission to get some of those purples to upgrade. What are you, Luke?
May have been me, yeah.
How many purples did you end up with?
6.
Full set?
6.
Not. I had purple pistol, purple whatever they're now calling the LVOAC, and then 4 pieces of gear.
It was a LAR 15, wasn't it?
Yes, that's it. The competition LAR 51 or 15, whatever it was. Yeah,
I had
which is not very good, to be honest.
I think I had about 3 pieces of gear that were purple, but they were all dog shit. I had some of the Badger set, which was terrible.
Badger tough.
It was like a skill-based build, and I also picked up a was it? What's the sniper called? The 700.
M700.
Yeah, it was the bolt action version of that. It hit like a truck, but it was took forever to reload. It was good in skirmish though.
Didn't they have like a carbine M44 or something like that?
There was an M44 that dropped. Yeah. What do you guys think? Well, carry on what you say, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, just before we move off, obviously brands and gear pieces. Are you happy with the diversity that's brought by the gear pieces themselves, and like kind of how we're already kind of shaping up builds for the Division 2, and interested in seeing how it kind of moves in the future?
Yeah, I'm excited. The build diversity is going to be huge.
That's the key, the build diversity, because you can run 2 sets of 3, or 3 sets of 2, or you could run like a 3 and a 2 and a 1, depending on where your perks want to be and what you actually want to do with your build. It could be really, really difficult to find the meta to start with.
Not even mentioning the fact that you can. It's now got this random amount of gear mod slots. So the more gear mod slots you have, the less main attributes you have on that gear.
I really like that. The fact there's negatives to the pieces having bonus bits, you've kind of got to sacrifice one or the other.
If you've got a gold piece that has 4 slots, you can have a shit load of attributes because the mods have more than you would get if you had 1 mod slot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I'm really happy with the direction. Obviously, we've seen a lot more from the beta, and we've really got to wait till the full release to see a lot more from builds. But I'm really happy with the state of the gear and the brands at the minute. I was worried about how it was going to work and stuff like that, but not worried at all now.
Now, one thing I know that we won't all agree on, because I know where Mike sits on this, and I already know where you sit on this, Rob, because we talked about it in game quite a bit on the Saturday. But the stats on the weapon mods, so like your scope and your magazines and your grips and all that sort of bollocks, to me, most of them don't seem worth putting on your weapon. But that's just me, and I can see Rob's already shaking his head.
Okay.
So.
Before we end up in an argument or discussion, however this is going to pan out, I will say that they've already put out there that these are changing. These aren't the end result, and they've been probably modified either for the open beta or for the final release. So what we saw in the beta, as always, is under adjustment. And I would assume that there's been that much community feedback about this, because this is one of the big topics, is that the negatives like outweigh the positives.
Can I put my ear in now?
Go for it.
Wait.
I want to see you talk through your ear. Come
on. I generally think that if they do change this, they need to scale it. It needs to be like the blueprints. I think the percentages need to move up with your level, because I think that was the problem. I think we're given these mods that are supposed to be used at endgame, so their percentages are set to endgame levels. So they're not going to be as diminishing at that point. But you're running them on a level 7 character, so it's like, this is really hard to do. So
it's not just that though. It's like, I think I managed to get like 15% crit hit damage, and then another mod took it away. I was like, well, there's no point running that. Do you know what I mean? I know you get the other bonus from running the mod, but it was just kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, I just want to add in real quick. I'm absolutely on board with the idea of mods giving you something and taking something away at the same time. I think that was a great idea. Even when they announced it, that was going to happen on like the special live streams that they did way back with Thylander on the sofa in the State of the Game room. I think it's a great idea. For me, and I know you've already said, Mike, they're going to change the values and that, but for me, the negative stats were just far too harsh. But yeah, it's
going
all
off Rob's point, that makes perfect sense at endgame. But I also agree that they should scale. I think they should scale with your character. That actually makes perfect sense.
It shouldn't
level
be
1. It should be a lower percentage.
Yeah, but it also shouldn't be a choice between using a mod or not using a mod. Do you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't. You shouldn't be better off not using a mod. That doesn't make any sense.
I agree with that because,
well said.
I want to, like, even just for visual looks, you want to run. You know, you want to run sights, you want to run muzzles, you want to run grips and stuff like that. But then to have them not be any use under certain circumstances, then I mean, I ended up running PvP with no mods at one point because it was just in my head there was no point in running it.
I can understand what they're trying to do though. Like, you're supposed to make the gun easier to aim, so you're supposed to reduce the DPS a little bit. Yeah, because you're going to be hitting more of your shots. It makes sense, but I think they went a bit too far, maybe.
But like I said, they've been adjusted. Obviously, weapons themselves. How do you guys feel about the weapons? Do they feel good, bad?
Oh man, the machine guns, so good. I hope they don't change that. So good. I love using machine guns. I picked up a blue M429. I didn't put it down. It was the best gun in the game.
That was me with the M60. As soon as I picked a blue one up, I was like, "Yep, I'm home."
I know. Like Rambo. I ended up running. I think it was an M249 and an L86. I was like, I love the L86. It's such an awesome weapon.
You went double LMGs.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. And then I was trying. I think one thing that they've definitely got right is the fact that all weapons seem to be viable. If you like a weapon and you enjoy using it, yeah, there's a couple that stand out a bit more powerful. For me, I felt like the range on the shotguns was still needs a little bit tweaking. An LMG is obviously going to be meta at the minute. That's definitely what I saw from the beta.
You say that, but the Dark Zone we were given was very much.
I'm thinking of Skirmish I think about.
No, I'm thinking of the Dark Zone. The Dark Zone was more of a long range engagement Dark Zone. So SMGs weren't that easy to use because of the long sight lines. But like, people were sniping and using LMGs because you've got that bullet range and there's not
the
as much drop
space
off
in the mag.
Yeah.
Because you don't. I don't know if you guys. I don't know if you guys felt. I don't know if you guys felt about it, but like the ammo, you haven't got like these stupid percentage magazines now. So like you're going through. What did I pick up? Was it fuck? What was the SMG I picked up?
MP5, MPX,
MP7, MP5, something like that. I'm pretty sure I picked up the MP7. I went through the mag like that. I was like, shit. Reload again. But that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah. It's realistic.
Yeah. Hipfire. Oh my God. Me and Luke were looking at Hipfire. Well done. Well done, team, because...
I didn't test that.
Well, we tested it out.
And was upstairs in one of the missions, wasn't it? Where there was the, like, upstairs pond or stream or whatever it was on one of the missions.
Yeah.
And first of all, it started with me and Mike getting really excited that if you shot water, it like plumed up a splash, which to me is just brilliant in a game.
Yeah, to the point where we were trying to reenact freaking like in the movies where somebody like where you have bad guys shooting at the water at the hero and he's like running away and like Luke shooting. Yeah. And it was just water plummets behind the person running away.
So you got the water plumes behind him, and then if you look where you'd shot, it left bubbles in the water, which was just fucking brilliant as well. Like the attention to detail was great. But moving back to hipfire, once we got bored of firing at water, we thought, well, let's just stand still and fire at the wall and see what the recoil patterns are like. Dude, if you hipfire, your bullets go fucking everywhere.
Yeah. It looks like there's random directions coming out of the front face, kind of like Siege.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
Siege is
honestly reminds me of
terrible
Siege.
for hipfire, isn't it?
Hipfire.
The thing I like about the Division 2, what they've done with the reticle, though, is if you watch the reticle when you're hipfiring, the reticle actually moves to where the bullets are going, but that thing is dotting around your screen like it's on speed.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, and I love it, because I fucking hate hipfiring.
But I will say, aiming down the sights with an LMG, that thing doesn't move at all. I was like straight firing it for like till the end of the mag, and I was like, look, there's no recoil on this. There's no recoil. I love this.
Yeah, I went over my dad's and I jumped on his build, and he had an M60 with a 12 times scope on it.
Ooh.
it literally didn't, like, there was no recoil. That's
Damn.
great.
Yeah. Obviously, sounds feel a lot better. It's really nice to see that weapons from the Division 1 that weren't viable.
One thing I really appreciate about the sounds is when you empty a mag, the last bullet sounds different.
Yeah.
It's like an audible clink.
Yeah.
And that
The clink was cool. Yeah, I like that. I think everybody we've spoken to likes that, actually. I know Boris loves it. You like it, Mike. I like it.
Yeah.
A couple of people in our Discord have mentioned it as well. They thought it was really, really smart that there was an audible cue that you were out of bullets. Apart from the fact that you instantly start reloading your magazine as well. But
Yeah.
no, it's nice little touches like that, though.
Yeah, it just kind of makes it more realistic and adds to the atmosphere, and just make it's like all the little details kind of add up, like not only in the open world, but just on the gun itself that you're using, and you have like an audio cue to back it up as well. It's cool.
Speaking of little details that really impressed me, the bells in the dark zone, if you kept shooting them, they kept ringing. Every time we went to the extraction where that bell tower was, it was like, ding.
It was dinner time.
Yeah, I was using, what was it, a P93, and it was like a 3-shot. So it was like bring every time I did it. Bring. Luke's like, what are you doing? I'm like laughing to myself in the corner.
Wasn't me asking what you were doing, dude. I shot it every time I run past it.
I don't know if it was you. It might have
Every
been Brad.
single time.
Not Brad, Boris or something. Obviously, we talked about weapons and gear. Normalization. Are you happy with normalization in the Division 2?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was brought in with the Division 1. It was kind of held back a little bit towards end game builds, obviously with gear sets being omitted from it.
I'm not quite sure how it works yet.
As far as I'm aware, your health, armor, skill power, and weapon damage is the only thing that gets normalized. Everything else.
You say that, but me and Luke were comparing stats in the dark zone.
Yeah.
My armor was higher than his, but my health was lower than his.
Well, maybe it mitigates it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, that was in the DZ at least. Whether it's different in skirmish.
We need to spend a little bit more time looking at that, really, don't we?
I'll tell you what I did realise with the normalisation in skirmish, though, it makes the matches, or certainly from our experience in the the few hours that we played it, like the 4 or 5 that we played it, it does make the matches a lot tighter. There weren't many matches where we were winning by more than, let's say, 5. Most of them were like down to 2 or 3, weren't they, to be fair? There weren't many matches where we were absolutely murdering people. We didn't lose many, but they weren't one-sided. You go into skirmish in Division 1 at the moment, you can easily win 20-0 or whatever the fucking score limit is before. I don't even think Mercy Rule kicks in skirmish in Division 1, does it? It's only last stand.
No, it doesn't.
Mistaken.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
but
it's got to be working in one form or another.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about skirmish. We played a lot of skirmish. You can inspect players, which is really cool in Skirmish. And we were looking at their builds, and we were coming up across other players that have got like 6 pieces of purple. They've got a blue weapon and a purple weapon, and you would think that would put you at a disadvantage. No, in those games, we were either beating them or close to beating them, and that shows me personally that it is working. It really did. It really is. It's one of the things I've been seeing go around. So I've probably seen it. Probably remember this being a topic before, but do you feel like it's increasing or lowering the skill gap by having normalization?
No.
Multiple choice.
No. Obviously, we didn't experience the skill-based matchmaking in the beta because obviously there wasn't enough people to do that, and we didn't play for long enough to experience that coming into effect. That's going to be a big factor of the skill gap, much like it is in Siege and other games that have like a ranked sort of
a ranking system.
Yeah. So can't really judge it yet. In my eyes.
Yeah, I think we have to really wait till we're in end game builds and seeing how much difference that's really gonna make. I don't think it's gonna increase the skill gap though. If anything, it should hopefully put everyone up on a level playing field. I really hope that is the case. Whether it is at end game, I don't know. But from what we played with level 7 characters and people with better builds than us, we still stood a chance, and in most cases we beat them. Whether that was just us working well as a team or not, I don't know.
I think that's the key point. I think the general consensus is that if anything, it's going to lower the skill gap, which I think a few people from what I've seen of videos and Twitter comments and stuff are not happy about. I, for one, not really bothered. I think that the key point that we found out from Skirmish is if you're in a 4-man team and you can work as a team and you are actually communicating, you're probably going to win. It's because of the much lower TTK and how important armor is. If you can team up on somebody 2v1, it's a wrap. You know that they might take one of you down. They're definitely not taking 2 of you down. Most chances they probably won't take one of you down because you can't mitigate that much incoming damage anymore. So working as a team and communicating is now more important in Division 2 than it ever has been in the first game.
But this is something that we've wanted.
Exactly. No, that's not criticism. That's
no. I'm not. I'm just saying this is something we wanted in a good way. I
feel like the fact that we've played Siege for the last 2 months quite solidly, that's why we won most of our games, because we were calling out where people were and stuff.
Yep.
I think you will have that, but I think it's going to take a long time for people to adjust. I do think that people worried about PvP or annoyed about PvP.
It's going to be one of those things where you have to learn the maps, isn't it? Again, because people were saying, "Oh, there's one over there." Where the fuck is over there?
I do remember a couple of callouts like that. Okay, so open world activities and loot. Can I just say before we go any further, how awesome does Washington DC look, and the level of detail that has been put into this game is absolutely stunning.
I've never been there, so I wouldn't have a good comparison.
Well, you've got Google, my friend. I'm sure you can. I'm sure somebody's done a 1-to-1 recreation, just like they did in the Division 2. Anyway, yeah. How did you feel about the open world, boys?
It's lovely.
Did you enjoy your time in it?
Yes, always.
Are you happy with control points and the open world dynamic stuff going on in the open world?
Yes. Is it annoying that I'm just agreeing with you and not giving you an opinion?
It's up to you, dude. You can either just say yes.
The addition of the extra mats that we need to collect to keep the control points stocked, which we don't know as how that's going to affect endgame yet, but I'm sure it will. I love that because you literally went down an alleyway. Oh, there's something to pick up. Oh, there's something to pick up. Then you see something else. Oh, pick that up. Oh, pick that up. It was like, oh, piece of candy.
There's a lot of
piece of candy. Oh, piece of candy.
That is
padlock,
really
I'll shoot
bad
that,
for
I'll find
me,
some
though.
more candy.
Who
you know
was
what I
it
mean?
who said that on the Thursday? It was like, this game is
Me.
really bad because there's going to be
Me.
something over there, there's going to be something
Yeah,
over there.
you're gonna get distracted every day.
But at least I'm playing it with you guys. I'm not on horseback in a different game. It's fine.
And the extra mats for crafting as well, which just adds to the extra RPG aspects of the game.
Yeah. Luke, what did you reckon of the open world activities?
Yeah, I liked them. I like the variety of them. You know, was it the one where you had to keep hacking the speaker? So they were the propaganda ones, weren't they? They
Yes.
were good. They were the ones literally where you just had to kill everybody and take the control point back. I'd say I like the variety of them, and the fact that they sort of respawn on their own as well were good ideas.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that one's respawned again. Because Rob was like, yeah, if you go back to that control point, you get loot again. I was like, by the time I'd actually got around to going back, it had been took over by NPCs again, and we had to go back.
Yeah, I
and clear it
didn't
out.
realize what the loot rotation was, but like every I think it might have been like 4 hours, you could go back and open the caches again
If it was still under your
if
control.
it was still under your control.
Yeah. But everything, like, we were waiting for Brad to get online, and me and Luke were just roaming around the streets of Washington, weren't we, Luke? And we were like, look, there's more NPCs there. It was like every 2 seconds there was something.
Did you stop
to
a
do,
public
find.
execution?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
we did.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do a supply drop where you had to open 3 crates?
Yes, but I only got 2 of the 3 crates.
Why? Did you die?
No, one of them got opened by the NPCs.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I forgot that could happen. Did you do the old classic where you have to go find a hostage and open a door once you found the key? It was like a handcuff symbol on the map.
No,
I
I
don't
don't think
remember
I
that
did.
one. No.
They were good.
See, I'm praising variety, and there's still one that I didn't do.
Yeah. Obviously, friendly AI is pretty useful at the control points now. It's quite cool that you can call for backup. I really like the fact that you've got loot boxes in the open world. It's just amazing how much is in the open world now. It's what we wanted from the Division 1, where you've got the loot boxes and, you know,
Did any of you encounter any open world bosses? Because apparently there was random ones that you could encounter. Like someone said, I was watching a stream and he said he went down a tunnel and he encountered a guy with a chainsaw. And I didn't see that.
Oh, wow.
No, I didn't see that. But
No.
didn't we come across some roaming named NPCs in the Dark Zone, Rob, when we were in there?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. But that might have just been a landmark.
But yeah, there's like lots of little details in the open world. It's really good. Like even stuff like shooting off the locks and destroying the barricades.
Oh, dude, the first time I shot off a lock and entered one of those little locked loot rooms, I was fucking nursing a semi.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you could shoot off the fucking padlocks. You were like, oh yeah, I did
Yeah.
that yesterday. It's like, oh, fuck you.
Oh god. Because we have got a little bit more to get through yet. 2 main missions we played through: Washington, Jefferson. I personally think they're quite interesting areas to play through. A lot more varied than a mission you would probably get in the Division 1. Very quickly, your thoughts on those?
Same missions is redacted. So
Okay. No comment.
no comment.
As for the story, I'm going to be honest, I skipped through a lot of the story elements and stuff like that because I really want to absorb it when we play the full game on release. So any cutscenes, I skipped out straight away.
Did you not go and collect any of the audio cues or anything? Or do the echoes?
I did, but I was probably in chat with you guys and probably didn't listen to them straight up.
Did you find the SITREP recording?
I may or may not have done. I can't remember.
I didn't.
I did.
I'll be a little bit pissed off I didn't, to be honest.
But we did get Maverick on
Yep.
on Twitter did call out that look guys, there's a SITREP audio thing for you guys.
Right next to a radio.
Yeah. Ironic. Endgame missions. Guys, did you enjoy the endgame mission we played?
Yes.
Yeah. I soloed it twice.
It was that fun.
It was more fun with the sharpshooter than it was with the grenadier.
Did you enjoy the new faction, the Black Tusks?
Yes, they were very tusky.
Luke's looking.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be honest. They're really interesting. Obviously, the enemies are a lot more tankier in that, but it's teamwork, you know. But playing off the back of that, I'm really looking forward to seeing what raids bring, because that end game content was good. So bring on raids for the Division 2. Really interested.
Yeah. I liked the difficulty. I know I said it earlier, but I liked the difficulty of the invaded mission. Like, there was one point where there was literally one of the four of us left clinging to the last bit of health they'd got left so they could revive somebody to go and help, like, before we all completely and utterly wiped. So, yeah.
Oh, dude, the AI.
We found it really easy, and then when it got to the last bit, it was like
ramped up.
I think it was the guy wielding the fucking rocket launcher.
Yeah, he fucked me up big time. I got a bit too close to him and just was like, "Hey, catch this!" Bang, into a million pieces.
But yeah, the AI in that mission is insane. Like the robo dogs were freaking trying to flank us at one point. You had NPCs trying to come around. The whole game is just insane. Moving on, side missions. Side missions feel more like main missions this time. Like, I went looking for SHD cache, and I was like, cool, I'm just going to get this quick. 10 minutes later, I'm still doing the mission to get the cache that I originally set out for, so that's really cool. Rob, you had some thoughts on that quick?
Did I?
Side missions?
Oh, yeah, no, it wasn't really about side missions. It was about the bounties. Did either of you complete any of the projects?
No, I don't think I did.
Once you complete a project, you got a bounty. And one of the perks, I didn't unlock it, but you could get a daily hard. No, I think no one could unlock it because you had to have another NPC in your boo. But you basically get bounties every day. And those bounties, like, you revisited a side mission location and you had to track down it was like the bounty missions from the first game. But if you died during it, you couldn't do it again. It's gone. And you got fairly good loot doing it as well.
That's really cool because it's going to add to replayability in the long run, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it gives you a reason to do those projects as well.
Yeah. Player customization. Did you enjoy your pre-made characters randomized pre-made characters, should I say?
There were some pretty funny ones.
Literally just selected the first one I was given.
I wish I did. My first one was hilarious. But I kept going until I found just like a normal guy.
Do you want to see a random roll option for the Division 2 full release?
It better be.
No.
You'd rather customize your character?
I will make a character properly for the proper game. It was the beta.
Because they're going to add. You know they're going to add like the bit where you can change your hair and shit, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh yeah, but you know, while Mike's making his character for 4 hours, we can just go and enjoy the game.
Oh, dude, I'm not.
Peace and quiet.
I'm not. I know.
He's just going to hit random and go.
Oh, dude, I'm just going to hit random till that sweet mustache comes up, and I'm good.
You had that Mexican mustache.
That thing made me laugh. I had so many comments over that over the weekend.
Did you team up with Dave over the weekend?
Hello, Dave. Maybe.
His fucking sideburns, man. Yeah. They were like strips of carpet down the side of his face. They were awesome.
But yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the full list of customization with regards to player customizations. So far, it seems to be quite extensive. I had quite a few vanity items drop over the weekend.
One,
and the fact you had one, and we're going to get the ability to apply random like paints to your gear, dyes, should I say, and it's always a plus. We're going to have the ability to have tattoos and sunglasses. You need that.
I had sunglasses on the beta.
Where are the shorts though?
I had jorts as well.
You had jorts, nice. We've talked about specializations. Did you enjoy the specializations?
You guys only played one. So
I've technically played two because I played one at Gamescom and then a different one in the beta.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Disagree, but okay.
It's not the same.
Fine, whatever.
Okay.
My favorite was Sharpshooter.
Very quickly, UI, user interface, peoples.
It was
Are you
shit.
happy?
Move on. Fix it, please. It was shit.
It wasn't the friendliest of mechanics, was it? To be fair,
I don't think it was as bad as the Anthem menus. That was terrible. That was not intuitive. At least it was.
It was only
usable.
intuitive because it was similar to what we already know.
Yes. I can imagine anyone else playing it that hasn't played the Division before would have huge problems with it. Also on PC, stuff was taking twice as long than it would do in the Division 1 with regards to deconstructing, having to double click stuff.
Yeah. Make deconstructing X again, please. Please.
Also, make it so you can tag loads of stuff at once,
You
not
can,
just
Mike,
one
you're
item.
just stupid.
yeah, you can. You're just an idiot.
Okay.
However, what I will say that I think
You had to leave the menu to do it.
No, as in in the Division 1, you can press V on PC and it'll go
Oh,
down.
yeah, no, it wouldn't drop down. You had to randomly
so
click
fuck
it.
you both.
All right.
that's not what you said.
That's not what you said at all.
No, I said be able to
Select.
tag
Select.
items, not deconstruct multiple items. I know the difference.
Select as junk.
You actually said select multiple items, which is not what you're arguing about, but still, whatever. I forgot what I was going to say now.
It's fine.
Really? No, it's not fine because it was important.
We're talking about the UI.
I know what we're talking about, you bellend. I just forgot what I wanted to say about what we're talking about.
Okay, well, while you're thinking about it, something that I really did enjoy, I really like the new map. I think it's a lot clearer than the Division 1.
Yeah, my dad noticed the map was good. He told me he liked that.
And I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but you now actually have a visual timer that ticks down for your cooldowns, which for your skills. Sorry, did you not see it? It was on the bottom. I'm pretty sure it was a red bar or something like that. I thought it was quite cool. PvP. We've kind of discussed bits of this already, but obviously the DZ and PvP in Conflict Skirmish is a huge departure from the Division 1. Did you boys enjoy Skirmish?
Hell yeah.
I really liked it. It reminds me of the Ghost Recon Future Soldier multiplayer. It's cover-based, all the rest of it. There's a couple of things that I would like to see in there. I'd like to have a spawn flip notification on screen because you don't know sometimes.
No.
That's kind of the point of a spawn flip.
Yeah, but they tend to do that. They do have that in multiplayer games. So I wouldn't mind something like that.
No, I'm with Rob on that one.
All right, okay. I really like the fact that you've got the ability to inspect other players' loadouts.
Yeah, that's great.
Great.
You can do that in the Dark Side as well, which is awesome.
Something that is fucking awesome. The fact that you've got fuck knows how many additional stats and information from your gameplay sessions in Skirmish and PvP.
Finally, some fucking stats for me to look at.
Yeah, but they're there for a reason, guys. The skill-based matchmaking.
Yeah, but I've wanted stats in the Division 1 since we first started doing IFMs and we took it in turns to make them. My first IFM was stats.
That was a long time ago.
Exactly, dude. Fucking give me stats. I want to know
2.5 years ago.
What my TDK is. I want to know what my fucking favorite weapon is. Just give me all the shit. All of it.
You did it. Well done, Luke. Loading into a map from the menu. Thank fuck, man. Thank fuck. You're like, Dark Zone, I ain't got fast travel. Load up the menu, scroll across, straight in PvP. Love it.
Yeah, that kept confusing me because I didn't expect it to be there. I was like, right, guys, where in the menu is the skirmish matchmaking? You're like, oh yeah, press the map button. I was like, oh fuck, yes.
It's so much easier. So much easier that you don't have to fast travel anywhere. What did you guys think of the first map we played? Was it Salvage? I think it was Salvage, wasn't it?
I can't remember the name of it, but I enjoyed the map.
What are you talking about?
The skirmish map.
Skirmish map.
We only played one map.
Yeah, what was it called? Yeah, sorry. What did you think of the map?
You said the first map because we know there can be other maps.
It was asymmetrical, which is always good for a 4v4.
And if you're a shapist?
The spawns were equally placed.
I know.
So, and there was a central point that would be advantageous.
Do you think it was? too
Am I
advantageous.
using too longer words for you, Mike?
No, not at all.
Yeah, do you think that rooftop was too advantageous?
No.
Yes.
Wow,
I think
okay.
it's a case of whoever tends to have control of that rooftop is pretty much in charge.
No, because we got kicked off it quite a few times.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you...
I think I need to spend another 5 hours playing skirmish, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah,
when we got pinched, when we were against an organized team and they pinched us off of it, like from both sides, yeah, they took us down easy. Because the TTK is like, once there's one of you left up there, you're fucked.
Yeah.
it's
quite open up there as well. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lee.
No, I was just going to say I like that there was 3 ways up as well, because you got the 2 main staircases, but then
There was boxes you get up
behind
as well.
one of the staircase, there was the box that you could climb up the back of, wasn't there? So
There's more than one box you get up.
Yeah.
was it? Oh, right, even better.
Yeah. It's kind of
There's more
from
like
the
4 ways of getting up. Maybe.
yeah, it
Yeah,
was one
even better
either
than-
side. Yeah. The fact that it's a custom match as well, custom match, sorry. The fact that it's a custom map for skirmish is really fucking awesome. I like that. I'm glad it's not part of the like any other part of the game at all. It's been specifically designed for PvP, and like Rob said, it's asymmetrical. It works with the spawns, the sight lines for killing each other and stuff like that. I really like that. And PvP, just PvP in general, I like the fact that you don't need to fire a whole magazine into someone to put them to death from downstate. I don't know why I said put them to death.
You mean kill them, right?
Yeah, I don't know why I said put them. That's why I said I don't know why I said put
Put
them
them
to
to
death.
death. Are you okay, dude?
Put them
No,
to sleep.
it's getting late now. We've been recording a while now. That's pretty cool. What did you guys think of matchmaking from what we played? Good, bad?
Seemed fine.
Non-existent.
Yeah, it worked.
Okay. Now just give us private matchmaking.
Private matchmaking would be epic, yeah.
Custom games, please. Duck Zone.
Hmm.
Okay.
What you got?
As long as
I
as
really
long as
need
you
a
want
pee, so let's make it quick.
That's what she said.
one. Okay, what do you guys think of the Duck Zone from what you played?
I'll let other people go first.
A lot of people are dubious, about the Grey Rogue system. I think it's great. I think it's probably the best thing they've put into the game. It's purely for snowflakes to go and dip their toes in what?
Nothing.
And they will get the thirst for doing more dark side stuff.
Bloodlust.
I came across a group of 3 that were just about to hit the button, so to speak, and I threw a grenade at the wall and just wiped them out. So be warned of that. There's going to be quite a lot of, and well, no, I don't suppose there will be because they're so far between. But I think it's great. I generally think that part of it. Even I think Mike's going to come up with the thing where you can't see them on the map very easily, but even that is brilliant. I think because of the size of the maps.
I don't mind that for the Grey Rogue system, but the fact that it's not clear when you have disavowed agents or manhunts until you
disavowed agents will be are on the map.
I'm not saying they're not on the map, but when you're literally in front of a rogue that is killing people, there is no bright icon. It's not until you aim above their head that they're visually, this is a rogue and you need to watch out for that person. It needs to be a little bit more. It needs to be more than that from a visual point of
There's
view.
one thing I will disagree with is when we went manhunt where there was a constant flicker on our screens.
Mm-hmm.
And interference, which made life a little bit difficult. Also, when we were playing against manhunts, I noticed that you've got wall hacks. You can see yellow through walls. that you can see the player through the wall because they're manhunt. Did anyone else notice that?
No.
I did notice that, but I assumed it was by design, and I don't mind it too much. You know, you're a manhunt. You've done it on purpose because you want the best loot and/or you want the challenge. Live with the consequences.
All right.
You know?
Okay. I don't think it's. I understand being able like a big icon above your head, but having wall hacks is a little bit different, especially when it's a cover-based shooter.
One thing I do really love is the fact that if for some reason you do end up back at a checkpoint, it's not far because of the size of the dark zones. It's not far to regroup with the rest of your team. You're not traveling half the map to get there. But I mean, I haven't personally spent enough time in the dark zone. I didn't get a lot of time in it over the weekend. I really just that session with you boys. But the interactions with other players do feel a little bit few and far between. We were in there for a couple of hours and we saw I'm pretty sure the first night we went in there, we saw one player. It was the same person coming back trying to kill a 4-man team. We were like, what are you doing? Just stop, please. And fair play to him because he kept coming back. But I mean, that's what it's about, isn't it? They want that 1v4 challenge. I can completely understand that. But when we literally got match made into a server with one other person, that was a bit.
Did you ever go in solo?
No.
Yes.
I didn't have a chance.
What did you think of solo, Luke?
It was better.
It's tough. It was definitely harder to take down a landmark, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Harder to take down landmarks. You had to be a lot more careful just walking around the streets because of those roaming patrols. So they were either all purples or mixture of purples and golds, weren't they, when they came around? So
yeah, usually 2 purple, 2 yellows.
They could fuck you up pretty easily. Yeah. The interactions with players in the solo server were a lot more regular. However, the same thing that happens in the Dark Zone nowadays would happen in the new Dark Zones, where if you were the rogue guy, just random people just seem to team up to kill you because they want to kill a rogue. But, it's fine. You the risk and reward whole part of being rogue is, you disavowed the division. Division agents are going to want to kick your ass. I agree with what you were saying when you were in the team, though, that the interactions were a bit few and far between, and that is something that we commented on when we realised the server count in the Dark Zones, wasn't it? That we thought that might be the case. So
because you're being matchmaked with other teams, the teams are sticking together.
Exactly.
So you're only seeing them when you see a whole team. So you're likely only going to see them at extractions or at other points of conflict.
So that concerns me a little bit. Just to catch up on what you were saying before, I do agree that I think not the grey rogues, I'm fine with the grey rogues being next to invisible, but I think proper rogues should be more visible than they are. Manhunts,
especially.
Go on.
I was going to say, especially to increase that player interaction as well, because people are just going to walk on by, aren't they?
Yeah.
If there's something going on.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the Dark Zone.
Surprise!
Yeah, surprise! I think the Dark Zone that we played, if I'm not mistaken, was the biggest of the 3. So maybe that contributed to the problem we are currently talking about with the interactions with other teams. I'll reserve full judgment till we've played all 3 of the Dark Zone maps. What I will say, and I don't know whether you two will agree with me or not, but I don't know if the Dark Zone has just lost a bit of its tension. And I don't know why. I can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe it's just because we're now familiar with the system, because it hasn't changed all that much. I don't know. It just didn't. The first time I went in the Dark Zone on the Division 1, I literally spent an hour with my mouth wide open because I couldn't believe what I was playing. And I just didn't get that same make my hair stand on end feeling when I went in.
Extracting is still pretty tense, though, if you've got something good.
But can I ask, do you still have that feeling in the Division 1 now? Do you still feel tense when you're in the Dark Zone?
No, but they to me, they ruined the Dark Zone when they took away a lot of the difficulty when they did the changes for 1.4. So I haven't had that feeling for a long time. I was hoping they were going to bring it back for Division 2. I'm not saying it's as bad as it is now. I prefer Division 2's Dark Zone to Division 1's. And obviously all the PvP changes we've said before, if there are any of the community guys listening or devs listening or any of the feedback gets back to them, I like the changes you've made. Please don't make it that I'm being negative for the sake of being negative.
No, but you're being honest.
Yeah, I don't know how they would give it back to me because, like I say, we are familiar with the Dark Zone. But
this is it. This is a big problem, right? You're not gonna ever get that feeling back where you went in the Dark Zone and to start with it was tense because you've seen and done that.
I tell you why I hoped I would get it back was all the talk that they've made of making risk reward more important, and I don't know. It just didn't have that little. I'm fucking gonna use this term, and I hate using this term. It just didn't have that X factor that it had originally, and I guess that's just me wanting it to be brand new again. And it's obviously never going to be brand new, like you're right to say, Mike. But
I don't think it's just that. I think it's also a thing of like skirmish is that if people want PvP, people are probably in that during a beta testing that out because they just want constant kills. I think when the game goes live, you're gonna have a completely different situation. You can have people that want to play skirmish, and that people don't want to be. They want to be in the dark zone. Plus, we haven't played the occupied dark zone yet. That could be worse. There's more risk reward supposedly in the occupied one than we've seen in the normalized one. So I definitely get where you're coming from, but how that plays out on launch could be completely different to how it is now.
Yeah, and it might bring some of its tension back once you're actually bothered about the loot that you're going to lose.
Yeah,
the fact that I'd got purples in my backpack and really didn't care whether I lost them or not, because
that's the other thing. You're playing a beta.
Yeah, the loot was being taken away from me in 2 days, wasn't it? So
yeah, that's why I was worried about the FAMAS, trying to get that so we could go play skirmish, and then it ended up in my backpack, and I was like, well, it kind of let me down from that point of view because that risk reward is effectively gone. So I hope that personally isn't in the end game. The fact that you've got decent gear, but it's going straight into your backpack because they said the better gear, you're gonna have to extract from the Dark Zone.
Yeah. So
it's really a case of we have to wait and see for full release on that. Okay, very quickly, a couple of points. We'll go over a couple of negatives. I know we've talked about a lot so far, but we are almost done. Graphics, I gotta say, personally, after the performance issues were sorted, I mean, the game looks absolutely stunning. I've said that before. I had to change some stuff, but it was running pretty damn stable for a game that loads you straight into a world and then lets you free roam everywhere, do missions, and there's no loading screens. I played Anthem. There's like a loading screen for the loading screen as you're loading in, and it's kind of like you spend more time in the loading screens to do stuff. It completely kind of kills it.
Yeah. It's quite impressive how they managed to get that to do that, actually. For a game that traditionally would take so long to load up just because of how detailed it is.
Yeah.
The fact there are no loading screens after you're actually logged into the game is mightily impressive. With my laptop with its 1050 Ti in it, I had to run everything on low, but the game still looked absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
So
it scales really well.
Yeah.
Rob, what did you think of the graphics on PC? I mean,
amazing.
Apparently it's really good on console as well. There's a couple of graphics issues I've heard from players on PS4, but apparently anyone running like an Xbox One, it looks pretty stunning. And then obviously you've got like the environment, there's weather, there's landscapes. Did you guys see any thunderstorms and rain effects?
Yes.
Yeah.
That could be pretty freaking cool if we have survival. I'll have to wait and see for that one. Moving on, photo mode. I really like the fact that this is in there. The community has been putting out some really awesome screenshots, and like they only had 2-3 days with the beta, so that is pretty cool. There's a lot of artwork with regards to graffiti just around Washington DC.
Found some really cool bits of graffiti in the Dark Zone already.
Yeah.
And Eidolon Foxy took over 100 photos using photo mode in the beta.
Damn. Well done, Foxy. Soundtrack and atmosphere. Dude, the soundtrack in this game is so good at the minute. I really do like it. One of my favorite game soundtracks is probably the Doom 2016 one. I think it's got one of the best soundtracks in a game. I'm not saying it trumps that, but it's definitely a really good soundtrack this time.
This is probably going to be my favorite gaming soundtrack of all time.
Nice, man.
Depending on what we've not heard yet that's in the real game. But yeah, the soundtrack that we got for the beta was fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot more synths and guitars this time around. I love the fact like you kind of have elements from like the first soundtrack come back, but it's revamped, and then you've got like grungy guitars. I don't know why I'm saying grungy, but it's like distorted guitars over it this time. Rob, any thoughts on soundtrack?
Yeah, it was good.
Cool. We just
Thanks, Rob.
You're welcome.
It all adds to the atmosphere of the game.
Agreed.
It's really good. Okay, some negatives. Okay, so there's a lot of bugs over the weekend, which isn't great. Obviously, it didn't happen to everyone. We've talked about the Delta issue, players being banned. Rob, you were invisible at the Dark Zone at one point whilst we were switching servers.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, so
That was
hopefully
because of the Grey Rogue system, though.
Yeah,
I stopped the transfer, but we were sort of still on the same server, but we were invisible to each other.
Yeah, I really hope that doesn't get exploited, because you could have two groups or a couple of people running around like that if you're not careful. There was some lag during skirmish. Obviously, we've said before the sound effects were delayed or off at certain points.
Desync,
please,
easy as well.
Yeah, please, can we have the option for a nighttime mode for the loading screens? Because I don't really want to get a suntan off the bright white screens. It's not really.
I told you, just turn your contrast down.
Dude, yeah. And what happens when you're playing the Dark Zone at nighttime and then like you change to something else? It's like blow out your retinas. Yeah, there's a lot of people commenting on legacy bugs. You can go check out the videos. Marco Styles put one out. I'm pretty sure Lieutenant Buzz Lightbeer's put one out as well. It is a beta. I'm going to say that. I just hope a lot of these issues are fixed before the game's released, because for me personally, it's not going to be people talking about how good the game is, because the game will be good from what we've played so far. It'll be people complaining about the bugs that are still outstanding, which is unfortunate if it is a good game on release. Any thoughts on that quick?
The only negative I would like to add in, that's something we didn't talk about during the Dark Zone chat, and guess who wants to talk about the Dark Zone some more, is the turrets.
Mike, right?
Oh yeah, sorry.
You've
the one thing I didn't add.
You've put in the notes that you want to add range to them, but I disagree with that. I think what they need to do is, so the issue I got with the Dark Zone turrets is, and they're another great addition to the game, but if you are in a rogue team and you die, and some of your teammates are still rogue, the second you walk out the checkpoint, you're starting to go rogue again, which is fine, but you barely, and I mean barely, get enough time to get past the turrets before you turn rogue and they start shooting.
That was a bug though, right? Wasn't it? I thought you... because
I don't know whether it was a bug or not, but all I would say is, rather than add range to the turrets, is add a little bit of time to the time it takes you to go rogue again whilst catching up with your teammates. That's it.
Yeah. Because I remember when we played Redacted, it was like a
Redacted.
Yeah, be careful how redacted you're talking about, Rob.
There was a redacted timer above your head.
Okay.
Until
let's leave it there.
Like it was, you were syncing with your teammates, and I'm pretty sure it was in the beta as well, but sometimes it just didn't work.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, maybe that was a problem. It was that syncing, that timer, that I think, just to make it safer for people, so that they literally didn't have to press sprint the second they came out of the checkpoint, and you had to get over the animation where you're putting your mask on so you couldn't run whilst that was happening. Just add maybe a second and a half to the timer of the syncing back to rogue. That's all.
It's either that, or like I said, add some sort of range, so the minute you're outside the area of the turrets that you go rogue then. I don't know. Maybe you should go rogue straight away. Not sure, but it needs to be a little bit adjusted from what it is at the minute. Very quickly, stupid comments I've seen made, or we've seen made over the weekend, and since people complaining about maintenance. fixing the game.
How dare they try and fix the beta that's not quite working properly?
Yeah,
Idiots.
they've fixed a lot of the shit that was wrong with it over the weekend. People complaining about the fact that the beta playtime
Can we just
doesn't
skip this
carry
bit? 'Cause
over
it's just
to the
making me angry.
main release. Okay, one of the best things I've seen so far, people complaining about health and cover, saying it's not a cover-based game, especially in PvP.
Did you read the forum post that I think it was Boris, but I might be wrong? Basically, someone in our Discord linked in the Discord, and it was somebody who claimed to be a hardcore PvPer that doesn't like dying, so doesn't like Division 2 PvP. It's like, hang on a minute, dude. Part of PvP is dying. If you don't like dying, just fuck off and play something else. It was a terrible post. Like, oh, I'm a hardcore PvPer and I can guarantee you all the hardcore PvPers aren't going to play this game because we're all going to die too much. Like,
well, yeah, it was
probably
people
because you're shit at PvP then.
Well, people were complaining that the PvP in the Division 1 was more tactical due to the skills and talent timings and face tanking. And I was like, what?
Bollocks.
Yeah. Somebody was like, the graphics are too cartoony. That was an actual comment that I keep seeing. And
these people have got to be trolling, haven't they, really?
Well, they might play on Xbox, though, to be fair.
Really?
Dude, we're not allowed to do that. Technically, PC's part of Xbox, dude. Microsoft and all that.
Microsoft can suck my dick.
Okay.
I've said that twice this podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
just
take it.
Microsoft.
Well, there goes that sweet Xbox money, Microsoft money. And finally, I keep seeing people getting upset about normalized gear. Go play the Occupied Dark Zone. Done. Okay, very quickly, final thoughts from everyone.
I want to go to bed.
Are you happy with the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in a very good state to say we're, a month away from release. And I think, iron out a few of the bugs that were showing up in the beta, I don't think any of them were particularly game breaking. The sound one could be quite annoying if that's still in the game at release. And obviously, like the deltas and stuff, but they, like we said, they got a handle on those straight away, didn't they? So
not going to stop you playing it, though, is it?
Absolutely not. No.
You think of all the problems that we had in the Division 1, and it never stopped us playing it at all.
That itself speaks for itself.
Yeah, I just kind of feel
twice.
I don't know if we should be more angry or what, because like all the YouTubers and freaking content creators like, oh yeah, raging and all the rest of it. I don't feel like that, and I don't know why. I'm really happy with the state of it. It's basically improved on everything from the first game. Yeah, there's still a lot of bugs to squash before release, but I don't think everything's going to be fixed before released. Okay, but if there's one thing that's happened, it's the fact that Massive has proven that they will try and fix as much shit that breaks, and they will seek feedback from the community and implement the best changes for the community. I hope they don't always do that, because it's not always the best thing to do, as Destiny is a good example. But like most people would have written off the first Division, especially like a publisher like EA. Let's hope Anthem does well. Otherwise, we might not see any more Anthem after that. But Ubisoft Massive have stuck by the product, and people have continued to play it. They fixed it, and we're less than a month from launch of the sequel. And I never thought we would be in this situation now. Boys, it's pretty cool.
My
really
final thoughts are this type of game. This type of game doesn't in the past few years, any game that's similar to this has never came out perfect. That's not going to change for a long time, I don't think, until they get the formula right. So for us to expect that of this game is kind of stupid. From a podcaster point of view and from a content creator point of view, it's a good thing. There is a lot of YouTubers like bashing this game because it's broken. They should just shut up and just like talk about it and try and have constructive
conversation.
criticisms about it. This will add to your content, you fucking idiots. If you've got more things to talk about this game, like once the game's out and it's not fixed, you get to talk about it some more. You get to put more videos out. You get to make more money. It may be bad publicity for the game, but any publicity is good publicity, as they say. So just shut the fuck up. There you go. I'm done.
Sounds like SITREP rants are back.
Yeah, maybe.
I love it. It's fucking hell, Rob. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's the best thing you've said this episode. Well, I honestly agree with you, man. You know,
I do, but for the team, I would like it to release as close to perfect as possible. I know striving for perfection is sort of like a journey that will never end, but you know, after how the first one launched, and I'm not trying to bash anything, you know, we played the shit out of the first one, but I'd like for this game to come out as close to perfect as possible, because I think with all the work they put into 1.4, and then the life of the Division 1, and then obviously all the changes they've made for Division 2, I think they deserve it, to be honest. So
yeah, I think they do. There's a lot of people that's the thing that people forget. A lot of people worked their fucking asses off. Yeah, things might not be perfect, but you know, over time, we'll see what happens. And like Rob said, you know, have constructive criticisms and feedback. You know, we'll probably bring back IFMs if we feel that that's the case. I'm sure we're going to have ideas for stuff that, you know.
Me and Luke were having IFMs the whole weekend. I just can't remember any of them.
Yeah, I remember you saying that as well.
May have been a little bit drunk.
What, a little bit? But yeah, I don't know. I just want to say as well, like you saying about, you know, keep doing it as a podcaster and all the rest of it. We don't get any money back for doing this show. We're not monetized or anything. So I don't want it to be in a state where it is broken. But at the end of the day,
yeah, but I don't want to go back to the weeks of
no news.
Yeah,
I just want to go back to every week talking about what we've done in the division. That's what I miss at the minute. Yeah, I can say that.
I don't think we're going to struggle for content for a little while, Rob. There's a fucking shitload of stuff for us to explore in the game without there being broken stuff. And then we can moan about how hard the raid is for weeks and weeks on end.
Yeah, but what about the raid after that? There's multiple. Oh, let's go. Because okay, very quickly. I keep saying very quickly, but this is the last.
We're gonna have to skip. We're gonna skip.
You can skip a few of them. We did ask for some feedback from you guys on the private beta and your thoughts and feedback. So yeah, we've tried to fit in as many as possible, but obviously the show's gone over quite a bit today. Luke, do you want to take the first one?
Yeah, so our Gamescom friend Isabel, or as she's more commonly known in the Division community, Cheshire Cat, what she liked about the Division, surprise, surprise, she likes cats. She liked the overall look and feel of the environment, the handling and the damage of the guns. She really enjoyed the settlement system with the upgrades, the fact that cover was important, the variety in the missions, the smarter enemies, and even the small little details all the way down to the fact that you could see the animals breathing like the deers when they stared at you. You could see the hot air coming out their mouth, and you know the agents were quite sweaty. I think we even mentioned the sweaty-looking agents in Skirmish, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wearing scarves.
Yeah, you see in the middle of summer with shorts on and a scarf. What Kat didn't like were the clunky double-clicking menus, the time taken to deploy the skills, and she was also confused by the handling of the skills. Same problem that you had, I think, Mike, with the Seekers, that often she didn't manage to get them to go where she wanted them to go. Isaac was pissing her off a bit, often telling her multiple times that the friendly control point was nearby. And she had some difficulty figuring out where the enemy weak points were whilst she was getting shot from all different angles. She did finish off the comments with, I'm still going to play it no matter what, even if those things would stay the way they are now. But I'm interested to see the changes from the private to the open beta to the full release, what got changed because of the data and the community feedback. Thank you, Kat. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Rob, do you want to take the next one?
Okay. Hi, boys. I enjoyed the beta. It was very refreshing to go through the new locale. I am pumped to discover a lot more of the DC. The menus will take some getting used to. The fixer drone is cool. I'm not sure about the upscaling of difficulty when playing with 4 people. For us, it was pretty insane.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the fact that they got on top of the deltas after the first day. I didn't delta even once after the second day patch.
Nice.
Boom.
This one, that was from Seamaster GMT, just to let you know. This one's from OB8 Kenobi, and he said for the first time in a very long time, I actually enjoyed the DZ. That was my biggest shock of all. That's really good, and I hope a lot more people are going to enjoy the DZ and check it out in the Division 2. Luke?
Hedzer said he was loving it. He enjoyed the changes to the options for the builds, but also pleasantly surprised by how much he enjoyed the changes to the PvP parts. His hype has increased, and photo mode is great.
Yes, it is. Hoffman Lens said, I didn't get to play it a ton, but from what I did, I enjoyed it. I forgave all the bugs and glitches at this stage, and I'm hoping the final build is more stable. I remain excited. Back to you, Luke.
Echo Doctrine on Twitter said he enjoyed it. He was very glad they seem to have expanded on the Light Zone PvE focus with control points, brackets like landmarks with friendly NPCs to help, close brackets, and random events. In his opinion, he still doesn't enjoy the DZ PvP trolls and was still hoping for a friendly DZ option.
We'll see. We'll see. And Robert, take the last one.
Bron Jones, I've had an awesome time on the beta. Some people have deltaed like fuck. I tried not to laugh. Ain't perfect in some people's eyes, but I think it's in a pretty good place.
Yeah,
lots of thumbs up.
That's some pretty solid feedback. Thank you to everyone who's sent in feedback for this week's podcast. It's hugely appreciated. Robert, I know It's been a long podcast. We're almost at 2 hours now. Where can the listeners find us for the next episode?
You can find us over at SITREP Radio on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, as well as our personal accounts. Send any questions or feedback for the show to sitradiopod@gmail.com, or you can find us on Discord. The link will be in the show notes. We want to hear your thoughts on the news and the topics we covered, so be sure to leave a comment and join the discussion in any of those places. Luke?
Real quick, obviously there were some questions and that we skipped this week. We will try and add those in next week. In the meantime, please leave a review of the show using the podcast app of your choice. We genuinely enjoyed reading all reviews that we are left. The feedback is excellent, and at the end of the day, it does actually help other people to find our show. If you listen all the way to the very end of the show, you will hear all the juicy details about the other awesome shows that are available on the Mash Those Buttons network. Thank you.
We do live stream as often as we can, so if you're interested in dropping by and chatting with us about the Division 2 whilst we play the Division 2 and some other games, you can find us all over at SITREP Radio on twitch.tv. We have been SITREP Radio. I'm going to be honest, I think we can't wait for the Division 2. Thank you very much for listening, agents, and we will catch you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to a Mash Those Buttons podcast. Visit mashthosebuttons.com for a full podcast schedule.
Cargo secured. Extraction complete.